All right, you filthy animals. Welcome back to the Drunken Rant Uncensored. I'm Liam, your host for this train wreck of a show.
Oh God!
And tonight we're taking a deep dive into the shithole that is fast fashion, baby.
All right, I'm Olivia, and I'm here to make some kind of sense out of this whole goddamn mess.
So grab your drinks, you degenerates, because tonight's episode is Forever 21. From rags to riches to rags and back again. We're talking about the rise and fall and rise again of this fast fashion fucking giant.
Yeah.
You know, the motherfuckers who sold clothes so cheap they practically disintegrated on your body after one wash.
Oh yeah. I think I still have PTSD from those changing rooms, fluorescent lights, mountains of discarded clothes, and the lingering scent of cheap perfume. It was a retail hellscape.
It was.
It really was.
But we all shopped there, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were lured in by the promise of trendy clothes at prices that wouldn't make us cry.
Yeah.
I mean, who could resist a $5 tank top or a $10 pair of leggings?
Yeah. It was like a fashion feeding frenzy. We were all just gobbling up those cheap clothes without even thinking about the consequences.
Yeah, and the consequences were pretty fucking dire.
Oh yeah.
But before we get into that, let's rewind back to the beginning.
Okay.
Back in 1984, these two Korean immigrants, Won and Jin Suk Chang, roll into LA with 11 grand and a dream bigger than my hangover after a 3-day bender.
It's a classic American dream story, right? Two immigrants arrive with nothing and build a multi-billion-dollar empire. But it's also a story about the dark side of the American dream, the exploitation, the cutthroat competition.
Yeah, it's a goddamn roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So these Changs, they open this tiny little shop called Fashion 21 and start selling clothes aimed at the Korean American community. Mm-hmm. And get this, they rake in like $700,000 in their first year.
What's interesting is that they recognized a gap in the market. They saw that the Korean American community wasn't being served by mainstream fashion retailers, so they created a store that catered specifically to their needs and tastes.
Smart move, right? Find a niche market and exploit the shit out of it. But they didn't stop there. They saw the potential for something bigger, something that would appeal to the masses. Mm-hmm. So they changed the name to Forever 21 and revamped their entire model.
They embraced the concept of fast fashion, trendy clothes, ridiculously low prices, and new shit arriving every week. They basically turned fashion into a disposable commodity.
And it worked like a charm. People were going apeshit for their clothes. But 2013, they had over 480 stores worldwide and were raking in billions of dollars a year. They were the fucking kings and queens of fast fashion.
But their success came at a cost. They were accused of exploiting workers in sweatshops, copying designs from other brands, and contributing to the massive environmental damage caused by the fashion industry.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. But in this case, they were breaking a lot of fucking eggs. Workers' rights, environmental regulations, copyright laws, they trampled over all of it in their quest for world domination.
Yeah, it's important to remember that fast fashion thrives on a culture of overconsumption. They encourage us to buy more clothes than we need, wear them a few times, and then discard them. It's a system that's designed to generate profit at the expense of people and the planet.
Damn, that's some heavy shit.
Yeah.
So while they were busy building their fashion empire, they were also creating a mountain of problems.
Exactly, and those problems eventually caught up with them. Remember all those lawsuits they got hit with? Copyright infringement accusations of sweatshop labor, that whole allergic to algebra shirt fiasco.
Oh yeah, that shirt was fucking classic. I mean, who the hell is allergic to algebra? It's like being allergic to breathing.
It was a PR nightmare. They were accused of being anti-education, sexist, and just generally tone deaf.
But let's be real. They didn't give a shit about anything. They were making bank. And that's all that mattered.
Until it didn't. The competition started heating up. H&M and Zara came along with their own versions of fast fashion, and suddenly Forever 21 wasn't the only game in town.
And then there was the rise of online shopping. People could get their cheap clothes fixed from the comfort of their own homes. They didn't have to brave the horrors of Forever 21's overcrowded stores anymore.
Their massive, expensive store locations became a liability. They were bleeding money, and their sales were plummeting.
It's like they built this giant fashion empire on a foundation of quicksand.
And in 2019, the whole thing came crashing down. They filed for bankruptcy, closed hundreds of stores, and basically retreated from the global stage. It was the end of an era.
Or so we thought, but these motherfuckers are like cockroaches. They're impossible to kill.
In 2020, they were bought out by this group called Spark Arcs, a joint venture between Simon Property Group, a giant mall operator, and Authentic Brands Group, which specializes in reviving struggling brands.
So basically they got rescued by the mall mafia.
Pretty much. And Spark knew they had to make some changes if they wanted Forever 21 to survive. They shifted their focus to e-commerce, started partnering with other retailers like JCPenney, and even dipped their toes into the metaverse.
Where, the metaverse? What the fuck are they doing in there? Selling virtual crop tops to digital avatars.
Something like that. They created this virtual fashion game where players can run their own Forever 21 stores. It's actually a pretty savvy move to tap into the younger tech-savvy generation.
So they're trying to stay relevant, but are they actually addressing the ethical concerns that plagued them before?
That's the million-dollar question. They've made some efforts to improve their labor practices and reduce their environmental impact. They've implemented stricter labor standards and are using more sustainable materials.
But are they just greenwashing to appease the woke mob? Or are they truly committed to change? I mean, it's hard to believe that a company built on fast fashion can suddenly become ethical and sustainable.
It's a valid point. Fast fashion is inherently unsustainable. It's based on a model of overconsumption and disposable clothing.
So are they just trying to have their cake and eat it too? Can they really be both trendy and affordable while also being ethical and sustainable?
It's a tough challenge, but I think it's one they have to face. If they want to survive in the long run, consumers are becoming more aware of the impact of their choices, and they're demanding more from the brands they support.
So what do you think? Can Forever 21 pull off this miraculous transformation? Can they go from being the poster child for fast fashion to a beacon of sustainability?
It's a long shot, but stranger things have happened.
All right, let's get into their comeback strategy and explore whether they've truly learned from their past mistakes. So are they actually making any real changes when it comes to sustainability and ethical practices?
They're definitely talking the talk. They've launched a whole sustainability initiative, using more recycled materials, reducing their carbon footprint, and partnering with organizations that promote fair labor practices.
But are they walking the walk? It's easy to make promises, but it's a lot harder to actually change the way you do business, especially when your entire business model is built on cheap, disposable clothing.
You're right, it's a massive undertaking, and it's something they're going to have to prove to consumers. The days of blindly vying into fast fashion are over. People want transparency. They want to know where their clothes are coming from, who made them, and what impact they're having on the environment.
So what's the verdict? Is Forever 21 just putting on a good show to appease the woke mob, or are they genuinely trying to turn over a new leaf?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think they're making some positive steps, but there's still a long way to go. The fast fashion industry as a whole needs a major overhaul if it wants to be truly sustainable and ethical.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to raise my glass to the Changs, those crazy bastards who built a fashion empire on a foundation of cheap clothes and questionable ethics.
Cheers to that, and here's to hoping they figure out how to make their business model work without destroying the planet and exploiting workers in the process.
Amen to that, all right, you beautiful degenerates. That's it for tonight's deep dive into the wild world of Forever 21.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed our drunken ramblings and learned a thing or two about the fast fashion industry. Remember, buy less, choose quality over quantity, and support brands that are doing things right.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more of our drunken rants about fashion business or whatever the hell else we decide to talk about, make sure to subscribe to our podcast.
Until then, stay fabulous, stay thirsty, and stay uncensored. Cheers.